Blind defense is the invisible vampire in your win rate curve. This video is not about tools. It is about how to play the big blind, what to call, what to fold, and when to rate. Why is the big blind so difficult to play? Because you're not only forced to put chips in pre-flop, but you also have to face non-stop aggression post-flop without position. Recently, a PokerJudge user imported their last 1,000 hands and was stunned to find their big blind win rate was as bad as minus 183 B minus per 100 hands. So they asked us to make a dedicated episode on how to handle the big blind better. Slightly negative big blind win rate is normal for a regular. What destroys you is undisciplined post-flop calling. 25 to 35% of your hands are played from the blinds. Huge sample. Small mistakes compound fast. Blind defense is not as visible as 3-bet frequency. It is silent. Over-defending one street makes a single hand clearly negative EV. Do it several times a session and your win rate bleeds away. To play the big blind well, start with the first pre-flop principle. Since you already posted one big blind, you only pay the difference to call. The pot odds give you a built-in discount, which is why your BB defense range can be much wider than any other position. But wide does not mean mindless. In 6 max, openers are usually in later seats with wider ranges, so you defend very wide. In 9 max, early position opens are tighter and stronger, so you must narrow down instead of throwing marginal hands at a strong range. The key is who opened against a button or late position steal. Defend with tons of suited connectors, suited gappers, and marginal king-high hands. Against an under-the-gun open, tighten up hard and keep only hands that can actually play a good post-flop. Another common tough spot, the small blind opens big into you. With no position, the small blind often raises to 3 times or more to pressure you. Your calling odds get worse, so tighten your calls and raise your 3-bet frequency, punishing them with value hands and blocker bluffs so they cannot steal freely. If several players have already limped or called in front of you, everything changes. In multi-way pots, your bluffing room shrinks, and the implied odds on speculative hands are lower than you think. Play more directly and disciplined. Cut fancy semi-bluffs and favor hands that can flop the nuts. With the pre-flop frame more clear, back to the most common post-flop spot. You flat the button open in the big blind and face a flop C-bet. The classic mistake is calling with weak draws or hands with no real showdown value. Against GTO baselines, BB versus button flop call frequency on C-bets sits roughly 38 to 45%, with check raises around 10 to 15. If you call too much, cut pure backdoor draws and weak ace-high first. On an ace, 9-2 rainbow board, calling a 1/3 pot C-bet with king-jack offsuit feels like showdown value, but the play is negative E. Fold it. Hand 1. BB flats the button with 8-7 suited. Flop is 9-5-2 rainbow. Villain C bets 2/3 pot, I snap called, thinking backdoor straight and backdoor flush. The correct play is a flop fold. 8-7 suited has almost no development on this rainbow texture. Villain's range is full of better hands. Aside from binking a backdoor straight, you have no plan. Calling is clearly negative EV long term. Hand 2, BB flats with queen-jack suited. Flop is ace-king 3. Villain C bets half pot. I called again, thinking any 10 makes a straight and villain might be bluffing. Still a flop fold. Queen-jack has only 4 10s as outs. No backdoor flush, and villain's range is packed with KK and AQ on ace or king-high boards. Pure gut shot combos usually are not in your defense range. Many players can control flop calls somewhat. Turn is where the real damage happens. Gut shots and weak draws with no real improvement on the turn must be folded. Do not use "I already called the flop" as an excuse. Defense is not only call or fold. If your flop check raise frequency is too low, deliberately add semi-bluffs with blockers. They seize initiative and stop opponents from barreling with any 2 cards. That is it for this episode. If these ideas helped you, hit save and follow PokerJudge. We will keep breaking down real spots from every position and use data to turn each of your leaks into profit. See you next time.